Yeah, I mean, I agree with that here lately. Like, if I hit, especially with the limited time of the market, whether it be lunchtime or, right in the afternoon, if
Hmm.
I'll hit, one or two trades on the minis and do it good, and I still have time in the market, I'll switch to micros or something like that just to kind of
Yeah,
keep playing or something, just in case if I do hit a loss, I'm not giving everything back.
that's a good idea. I could definitely go down to the micros.
And I mean, again, just keep the same lot size. Like generally, I'll trade like a three lot on a mini, and
Mhm.
a three or a five lot. And if I switch to a micro, I mean, I still stick with a three or a five lot. I mean, you're just on a micro.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, just so I can keep getting some reps, and I've noticed it lately because it's like I'm shooting at a really high percentage right now. So a lot of my trades are working, but I'm just struggling to enter. Once I hit my number, I'm just like, like what's the point? Let me just, you know,
Do you
it's
find?
not about proving go ahead, Sean. What was
I
that?
was gonna say, do you find that like the more like you win, the more like I guess FOMO you get?
Um Nah, it's like it resets every day. So like every day I expect that okay, I'm gonna take my one trade or two trades and I know what comes with that, right? I think what it is just I'm not used to being this consistent. Like I've had great wins in the past and I've had good win streaks in the past, but even like those win streaks, I'm usually I gotta finesse something. Like I do something kind of risky or I do something where it's not really a setup. And I think this is like that first stretch where it's like I'm literally doing nothing outside of my plan. Everything is according to plan. So it's like it's
So it's almost
exciting,
mechanical for you.
huh?
So is it almost just mechanical for you?
Yeah, that first trade of the day, second trade of the day is super mechanical. And I think I don't want anything emotionally to put me in a place where I'm like outside of my plan because because you know what it is. You hit your goal, you take a loss, then you're like, okay, you know what? Let me just get it back real quick, and then I'll be done. But then you do something stupid, and then now you're in drawdown, and I'm not really concerned with that too much, I think, but I'm just noticing that like I'm leaving money on the table because I don't want to keep trading after a certain point. And today and yesterday there were several trades that like I would have gotten 2-to-1 targets had I just took the trade, but I think I'm working on that. I'm reading that Brain Hacks book, and I think that's what's giving me new vocabulary to understand what's going on in my head.
I think that Brain Hacks book is really good, especially whenever you're sitting there looking at, or like you're saying, you just had a loss on a trade, and you're sitting here almost in that psychology of, hey, look, I need to get it back, and just some of those hacks where it's like, oh, the market's going to go back down, it's going to go down, it's going to go down, and what flip
Right.
your screen upside down. Does it look good for a long now? No, it looks garbage for a long. So all right, then it's not good for a short.
Right. Yeah, that was a really interesting one. I've never heard of that before. I read that part yesterday, actually, and I downloaded the little software to flip my screen whenever I feel the need. I
it's
don't know how often I'll use it, but it'll be there in the tub.
yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah, that's what I've been working on this week is just being more aggressive within my system. If I can do that, I'm gonna have some massive winning days. So I'm just working towards that.
Yeah, see that's where I need to get. For some reason, I started. I started doing the combine thing again, or the gauntlet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I actually reset it on Monday or over the weekend, and
That's your target? No.
no, I reset it. Well, I mean, I had like a couple of days where I was doing okay, and then I just had one day where it was just horrible, and it kind of just like compounded on itself, and and that turned into like just like 3 days in a row of just not good trading. Like I was just struggling to break even, and then I kept trading when I shouldn't have, and it was just I
Did you
just
hit the did you
yeah
hit the daily loss on throughout
yeah
that
yeah yeah
period or okay,
yeah. Well, no, I didn't hit the daily. I think it was just the max drawdown.
the overall, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of like why I usually don't do the combines anymore, because for whatever reason, like when I start doing these, I just like all my bad habits come out, and I just start. It's like I'm a completely different trader all of a sudden. Like I just start. I mean, I guess it's like I just don't take it as seriously as I would like a personal account,
Hmm.
and it's like, like as much as I tell myself like, I need to not trade that way, I end up trading that way because in the back of my mind I know, oh, I can just reset it, start over if I want to.
Yeah, for a few $100.
Then you end up spending like 300-400 bucks. Like I've done that before. I've spent like 800 bucks in like 2 months because I would just continually reset it like in the past.
Right.
And so that's not any better than trading your personal account. You might as well just lose 800 bucks in your personal account. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm struggling. It's like for some reason, like I'm just like all of a sudden now I'm more aggressive than I should be. So I'm just kind of like whenever I see a setup now, I'm like, oh, I got to take that.
Hmm. Well, let's dive into that. What what is the I guess because there's always, for me too, like there were like three mistakes that I would kind of rotate from at any point throughout the day or the week. Um, what are like those first two most pressing mistakes in your trading right now?
So lately, it's been kind of like the eagerness to trade. I've been taking a lot of trades like right at the open, which I normally don't do,
Hmm.
and like I did it today, and I took a pre-market trade, and I got the 2 points on it, and so I should have just stopped there. To be honest, I mean I was at I'm trading three contracts. I took 2 points on it, so that's what three. That's $300 right there before the market even opened, and I should have just been content with that. But then I sat there and like waited around at the open, and I traded in like that little bitty like choppiness right there at the open, and
Yeah.
got stopped out on that. And I was like, shit. Now I'm right back to break even. Well, I was up like 37 bucks or something. Um, and so I was like, well, shit. Now I'm right back where I started, and so the fact that like it's for some reason I dig myself into a hole like right before I start to trade normally, or
No, I used to do that a lot.
yeah,
I really
it's
used to do
super
that.
annoying, and I don't know why I'm doing that. Like I really like I'm not even frustrated that I took the trade. I'm frustrated that I keep making that mistake. Like
Yeah.
it's so annoying, and then that just kind of triggers me to jump on like any good signal bar that I see, and that's not a good way to trade. I mean, you're kind of at that point you're not really taking into account like the context of the trade. You're focusing more on the signal bar instead of the actual overall market environment.
Right. So you'll take like the signal, and when you say that, you're meaning you'll see like a nice bullish bar and you'll buy it regardless if it's a second entry or not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's even times where I'm even like, man, that's a like I'll even take a first entry, and and then I'll be like, why? Like I wouldn't normally do that. Why am I doing that now? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I'll basically just be trading off. I'll have a winner, then I'll have a loser, and then eventually I'm gonna have two losers in a row. So I've kind of set like some hard rules. Only trade a certain time. I need to set like a profit target, but I'm not sure I really want to do that. But something else I did set was, I'm going back to, if I take more, if I go down like $500 on the day, I stop trading. Since I'm trading 3 contracts, that's basically two losses in a row on the ES.
Right.
So if I take 3 losses in a day, I'm done. If I go down $500, I'm done. And that's kind of like the rules that I have right now. And I need to stop trading the first couple of minutes of the open. I need to stop doing that.
Yeah, I think it's actually been good for me being on this military time and not even actually being able to trade the open because I mean I had similar experience to that. Like watching the open, it's almost like I get a rush sometimes, and I feel like I have to jump in on some of that volume, pumping in that first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or something like that. So I mean, I granted, I mean I've been doing this now for 4 months where I'm not even really trading during the open or anything like that. I don't even care to trade for like the first 15 minutes now. That's pretty much come and gone for me now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's it. I mean, I've even told people like, don't trade the open, and here I am sitting here trading the open. Uh, so, I mean, I've seen it so many times, and I've done this in the past. You trade the first 5 minutes, and you get chopped up, and then it ends up going the direction that you wanted it to, but it chops you up before it does that. And so like just staying out of that is kind of what I need to do. I think what it really comes down to is just kind of a lack of focus. Like I need to get into a better mindset before I start trading. That way I'm more focused and I don't necessarily make these mistakes. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been struggling with lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely part of the process. When because a lot of those things I used to do as well, and I keep in the back of my mind, you're really only one day away from doing it again. But just to add on to what you were saying, I have a similar daily halt at $500. But what I like to do is I generally take trade with 2 contracts, but then again, I go for like, larger risk rewards, so it plays out for me. But what I like to do is, let's say I take my first trade 2 contracts and I go down like a full stop. I just get stopped out 2 points. On my next trade, I size down. And what that does is just limits my decline into the red. So it's like, okay, even if I lose my next trade after that, I'm only going to lose $100 as opposed to $200. I still get a couple more shots. You know what I mean? And that has helped my psychology a lot. Is like as I'm losing, I size down, and that helps me just balance out the red moments and the drawdowns. And but then you got to like also accept the fact that if you lose like that, your next trade isn't necessarily going to get you into the green. And I've been accepting the fact that some days I end my day down $80, down $130, anything in that range. And that's okay because I know when I smack that trade right in the face, I'm gonna be up 300, so whether it comes tomorrow or on Friday, whatever, I know that if I can just limit my drawdowns, uh, when it is my turn to get my home run, which I'll say this for sure with max strategy, if you really enter at these key entry points, you're gonna get 1 to 1. You're gonna get 1.5 to 1. You'll probably even get 2 to 1, but just kind of getting that trust in the system to know that, okay, if I'm red, let me size down, let me slow the bleeding. And then once I get my momentum, I just need 1 or 2 1 to 1 trades and I'll at least be break even. Yeah, so
Yeah, no,
I feel you, bro. We've all been there, man. We're all constantly, yeah, even in that Brain Hacks book, he was just like, those demons never go away. You just learn how to make them work for you. and eventually, you're gonna have a little chink in the armor, and they're gonna come through. And the good thing is, by that point, you'll know how to deal with them. But and that's been
And
part of
that's
my
part of
philosophy
my
too,
thing
right?
too, right? Yeah, I
Go
mean, the
ahead.
big thing is whenever being able to identify that, just like how you are now, and like Sean's saying in that Brain Hacks books, the demons never really go away. It's just like whenever me and you were talking the other day, with somebody else. Was it somebody who made the comment about whenever they enter in a trade, their heart still races and everything like that. And I know I've been doing this for some years, just like both of y'all. And I know my heart still gets a little giddy sometimes in the heat of the battle. And I mean, I don't think that ever really goes away or anything, but just being able to recognize it, know how to work through it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, I mean, I've been doing this long enough to where I've kind of experienced both. Like, I've had like the really, like, I've had the consistency where I've been like extremely confident with my trading, and you know how to deal with all those things. And then I do something like start the combine like I'm doing now, and it's like I just completely like throw all that out the window. It's like it's almost like starting over. Really, it's kind of it's just you just start doing things that you shouldn't be doing, trading the way you should be trading.
Do you think whenever you started the combine, do you think you became more aggressive because you don't really have any capital on the line?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's just it to me, it's like trading sim. It just doesn't. It does more. It almost does more harm than good.
Let me
Let
put
me
a
put
different idea out. Because I know this was also happening for me when I was doing the speed up thing. How soon do you expect to pass the combine? Right? Sometimes that timing is another issue. Is that the reason why you want to enter the trade so often is because you've already done the math. We all know the math, right? 10 days making $300 a day. You're gonna pass the combine. Okay, we're going live. So as long as I can hit 300 a day, we do this math in our head, or it's like, okay, if I can do 100 a day, it's gonna be 30 days, 1 month. I only pay 170. Boom, like that's gonna work. So I've been detaching myself from the time. Like I don't care how long it takes to pass. I don't care what my weekly is. Like I'm only focused on the setups, and I worry about all of the timing stuff after the market hours and stuff, because that used to get me a lot. It's like I have this expectation of, hey, I gotta pass within the month, because that's just how my projections go. And when I hit this, then I can go get a bigger account and I can do this, this, and this. And I'm trying to remove myself from all of that. I just there are no calculations in my head. I have a daily goal, and that's just based off of like, yo, that's just really based off of their consistency rule, right? You can't make too much in one day, otherwise you won't pass either. So it's,
Yeah,
I've decided like, okay, about $300, you know, I can usually get that in one trade, trading two contracts. If I don't, I might size down and keep going. But maybe that's something to look at too, is what are our expectations? And sometimes it's really our expectations that fuck us up.
yeah. No, yeah, that was a really good point. And to be honest, yeah, that's absolutely probably the second reason why why I'm so eager to jump into trades is because I want to get it done as quick as possible. But even though I tell myself like take as long as you need to, because even if you have to pay another monthly renewal or whatever, it's still better than having to sit there and renew and start over for another 3 weeks, or whatever you got to do. Starting over
Right.
halfway through or whatever, and turning what could be like 4 or 5 weeks into 8 or 10 weeks.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's absolutely like probably the second biggest reason is like for some reason that's in the back of my head, even though I know not to worry about that. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. My girlfriend used to like coach me up on that all the time. You know, she'd be like, every time I hear you talk, you always have this like relationship with time that seems counterproductive. Like there's literally no rush, you know? Like if you, I don't know, you know, y'all's financial situation, but you know, I can afford, I think it's 150 a month or 170 a month for these combines per month, you know, and you know, it's better just to do it right because you know, at the beginning of my combine, I shot up a couple $100. I got right up to 1,000, and then I just had a shitty Friday, and I drew down like $800. And I remember looking at my screen, like I was at an $800 loss, and I was like, all right, bro, I can do this next trade and try to get back to like 600 or 500,
Yeah.
or I could just call it a day, make sure I don't fucking hit the max loss, and when I show up on Monday, let me just knock out $100. Let me knock out $150. And that's what I did, you know, and that $100 day compounded. The next day I got another $100 day, so now I'm only down 600. And then I had a little more confidence, so I took two contracts, and on those two contracts I made $200. Bam, I'm already back down to like 400, and back at 400, that's a regular drawdown for me. I don't feel any type of way being down $400. And
Yeah.
I was back at my highs within a week, you know. So yeah, it's just we have to work on removing ourselves from this sense of time, especially like we've been doing this for a while. So it's like, what's another week if we know we're going to trade it correctly?
Yep.
What's another month if we're going to trade correctly? Because I know for a fact, and maybe this is something that we all have to work towards individually. I know for a fact if I trade correctly, I will have some drawdowns, but I will definitely end up on top. Just give me 50 trades. I'm
Yep.
gonna end up on top. I know for a fact. I know for like it's like a conviction now. And so all I worry about is okay, am I in the space to trade correctly? Even if I have to take a couple days off, I know when I come back, I'm one or two runners away from a $300 day, a $400 day, $500 day, whatever that is based on your contract size.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happened to me today. Was I took that winner in the pre-market, and I was up, and then I took that crappy trade at the open, and then um, I ended up taking two losers. I think one on the euro, one on the ES, and I was down like 500, little like just over $500, and I think I sat there for probably another 20, maybe even 30 minutes, like just like trying to convince myself not to take any more trades, and then I finally just clicked out of the, xed out of the platform and walked away from the computer. But I mean, it
Right.
was for some reason it was so hard not to take another trade, and I think that just kind of goes back to the combine thing. I just feel like you can just keep trading if you want to because it's more of a sim account, but that's got to be my main that's got to be my main focus moving forward the rest of the week here. So
And like let's treat it like a business, right? In the
right,
sense of in a business there's a I've been like working on this concept. I'll probably make a YouTube video eventually. It's like sequence, right? I already know when I'm going to have a great day because there is a definite sequence of my great days, right? It's I took my first trade at full risk and I got my first target and my second target. Boom, that's a great day. So boom, I already know the sweet sequence of a great day. And then if I lose that first trade, I have these scenarios where it's like, okay, well, the sequence of a bad day is I lose and then I size down and I lose again. Okay, I already know like what type of day it is, right? So it's like treating it so much like a business that you already know how it's going to play out. We're just waiting to see which sequence initiates, like a program, like which sequence is going to initiate. And then I'm just going to follow that into its conclusion. And that's all the work we do outside of the markets, knowing, okay, this is my daily risk. This is when I stop, on both sides. And then lastly, the last concept that I've been working on is I don't own these trades. If anyone needs to feel personal about these trades, it's fucking Mac. He's the one out here telling us this is a higher level, this is a second entry. I did not create this system, right? So all my job is an operator. I observe the setups to the best of my ability and I trade them. And then from there I default to sequence. And it's so much easier said than done because the emotions will still creep in, but those help me stay in the right mindset of like, yeah, like if this doesn't work, like I just work on what I missed, but I don't own it. It's not personal. It's some dude who told me about this shit. I'm just checking if he's facts or cap at the
Yeah.
end of the day. And that helps me remember like, oh yeah, I'm down 300, bro. It's cool. Show up tomorrow, one or two trades, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how you got to look at it. Like, I try to look at it from a not like how much I can make, but like how much I can keep myself from losing. Like it's more
Right.
of like a risk, like it's more of like a risk management. Like I'm trying to keep myself from losing money. Like that's the main focus, is what I'm trying to say. And if I can do that, then I know the winners are gonna outweigh the losers. But it's when I listen to those like little demons on my shoulder, and take that extra trade when I'm down $500, or take some stupid trade that I know I shouldn't be taken, or wouldn't normally take, and that's what really kind of triggers me to just kind of throw everything out the window. Because once you start doing that, then it becomes a habit if you continue to do it, and then it's just even harder to get out of it. So you really got to treat it. You really do have to treat it as a business, because it's literally what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a way to make money, and you're just working for yourself every day.
100. What's up, Al?
What's up, dudes?
So, do you think, upon observation, the first trade of the day, do you take the time to evaluate it, like it goes against you, and then once it stops you out, or you get that first loss, whether it be the first trade of the day or the third trade of the day, is it that just the loss that kind of sits you on tilt, or is it being in the red? Like if you're up two or three trades and then you hit a fourth trade and it's a loss, but you're still green on the day, how is your behavior on that point?
Yeah, so all of those are a little slightly different, for me, anyways. I know that kind of like reminded me of like I played a lot of sports growing up, and basketball became like my main focus. And
What position were you in basketball?
it was usually like a two or three guard.
Okay, you a little quick. You a guard. Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, I was kind of like I'm much bigger now than I was then, but I was kind of like the skinnier like kid that was really fast and could shoot really good. So that's why I was always like out on the two or three guard. But um, yeah, so like a lot of coaches and a lot of like trainers and people that I used to work with, they always kind of something that would like routinely come up was making sure your first shot of the day was the best shot you could get. And the reason for that was because if you get a really good shot, if your first shot or first shot attempt is a really good shot, um, especially if you make it, then you're kind of like starting yourself off in a better rhythm for the rest of the game. Because if it's more of a mental aspect, I guess. Like, if you take if you force a shot and it's just a crap shot and you miss it, then you're like, ah, crap, I just missed that shot, and that's like how you started off the game. And that kind of that can kind of carry over into the next shot. But I think that's kind of how trading goes. Is that first trade of the day kind of like my mindset on that first trade is if if it doesn't work out, like my mind defaults to like I'm not seeing this right or I'm not seeing the market right. And that's what typically that's how my mind should work. But lately it's just been with this combine thing, it's a little different. I just kind of take that trade and then I'm like, well, shit, now I gotta make that up because I just lost right off the bat. So, but I do find that like it's much easier for me if like I'm seeing the market right and then I take a good like quality trade right off the bat and it works. And I'm green on the day. Like that kind of like sets the momentum for the rest of the day for me. Whereas like if I take a trade like I did this morning, it was just in this choppiness, and it failed. That was kind of like, immediately I thought like, why did I take that trade? And then my mindset was I normally don't trade the open, so why did I do that? And it was like just a ton of like negativity. And then after I like beat myself up about it, I was like, I'm probably not seeing the market right either. So, now like my confidence is just like way lower than it should be. And it kind of, that definitely like carries over into the rest of the day. And that's why I lost like a little over $500 today, because I was just trying to get green on the day instead of focusing on either not trading or just taking quality trade setups.
A book that you reminded me of that helped me a lot is The Inner Game of Tennis. You might get some benefit out of that book. It talks a lot about, the main point I got from it was like, when you fuck up in tennis or when you fuck up in any performance activity, um, working to like observe that was my mistake and then not adding any extra narrative to that. Like that helps you learn, because instead of like beating yourself up, you just realize, oh shit, that was my mistake. Okay, I ain't gonna do that again. Boom, on to the next. And that book might just kind of give you some insight into that, especially when I hear people say, oh, I beat myself up about it. Sometimes it's necessary. I'm kind of the same way. I'm a little hard on myself, but I also am learning that if we cannot do that, we learn faster.
Yeah, no, I agree. And typically that's how I'll react. Like typically, if like I feel confident about my pre-market analysis and like I'm seeing the market accurately, and I just take a trade that I know is a good trade, or that looks like I feel is I feel good about that trade, and it fails, then I don't beat myself up about it. I just literally I can brush it off my shoulder, and move on to the next one and act like that trade never happened. But it's like when I trade, like when I trade the open, even though I know I'm not supposed to be trading the open, and I trade it in chop, that I was more like frustrated with myself, as opposed to because I know I'm not supposed to be doing those things. And that's kind of I probably should have just stopped right there, to be honest. That was kind of a trigger point for me, and that's not how you want to start the day.
So you think you should implement some sort of rule? Because obviously you're getting the issues around the open. You think you shouldn't trade the open for, I don't know, don't trade until what, 8:45? I think that's your central time, right? so 15 minutes after the market open, just so the market can kind of determine whether it's going to sit there and chop in its tight range, which it has done several times, or at least give it time to actually establish a direction.
Yeah, I think unless there's like a clear like structure is just like very clear and you have a trend or something going into the open, like that's probably the only time you should look at taking a trade if it presents itself. But like this morning,
Well,
it was
can I
just
ask you real quick? That trade at the open, going into the trade, were you like, this is chop, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna take it? Or did you kind of realize after the fact it was chop?
let's see. I'm gonna go back and look at it here. It was, let's see. I think I was trying to trade a failure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Pretty sure it was this failure trade. Yeah, so I tried to take a short, and there was already about 6 bars that were basically within a kind of a 2 point range, and I basically traded right into that, and it went. I think it actually, because I was looking for 2 points, I think it actually went about 5 ticks, and then it came back and stopped me out. But yeah, looking at it, like it's not a great trade. It's like the market was kind of whipsawing back and forth across the EMA, and so it was starting to look range like anyways. And I should have recognized that, and I was just so focused on, man, I can get such a big move out of this. It's going to go back down to 4,100. Like I need to catch this move now, as opposed to waiting and seeing what it wanted to do. And it actually worked higher before it dropped down to 41. It wasn't until about an hour after the open that it started to really work down to 4,100.
So it's a discipline thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of everything, and for some reason,
Just not listening to yourself, breaking your rules, led to taking that first shitty bad shot.
right? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it comes down
Just you've
So let me
got
ask you this: Have you
something
been
about.
joining in Discord in the morning in here,
to.
Are we? Yeah,
This
yeah. For the most part, we are.
yeah, this morning.
Sean? Yeah, does it has the Discord been kind of distracting you at all or anything? Do you think it's better to trade in solitude or what? Just
So
have different ideas.
so that's what I've been doing the past 2 days. I because usually me and Al are in there in the morning pre-market right before the open, and the past 2 days I haven't looked at the Discord during the first like hour and a half or hour, and I was thinking maybe that might have something to do with it, but then I realized that today I was just basically trading by myself and without the Discord up, and I took it just came down to not being disciplined like I know I should be, and not listening to myself and trading by the rules that I have.
I don't
So
fuck with pre-market. Every time I tried, I lost. So I don't care how good the setup looks. I just move the mouse away and tell myself I'm not taking that trade. I don't care I don't care if it goes for 20 points afterwards. I don't let that. I stay as disciplined as possible. I
You
stay
sound like me
disciplined.
and damn engulfing bars.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with an engulfing bar. Maybe it's just my interpretation. Every engulfing bar. Let me rephrase that. About 90% of the engulfing bars that I took, they would fucking get me in, and then immediately turn around and kick me in the dick. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not trading engulfing bars anymore.
Yeah. Once you get, if you got that feeling, you just got to tell yourself, wait a second. I'm not supposed to be trading the first 15 minutes. Period. No matter what happens.
Right.
Because you know what?
I had a
There's
similar thing.
the 15 minutes after that. Then there's another 15 minutes, and then there's another. Dude, you got the whole day. You got your whole life ahead of you. Tell yourself. That's the shit I have to tell myself. I've got more trades coming today. I've got more trades coming tomorrow. I got more trades coming the day after that.
That's a
If I
great
miss-
mindset.
If I miss this, I don't give a shit. The world's not going to stop spinning if I don't take this trade. Simple
And it
as
won't
that.
be my last opportunity to make
Exactly.
money if I don't
I'd-
take this trade.
Yep. Tell yourself, I'd rather take 0 than take a loss. You just have to, whatever verbiage helps you stay disciplined, you have to find it. You
Yeah.
have to find it and
Yeah.
just pound
So-
it down your throat, burn it into the front of your brain, something. But
Something
yep,
that
I mean, you use discipline for your stop losses. You don't just go, all right, well, let me just move it one more tick, 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 right? I'm sure we all did it when we first started.
yeah.
You don't do it now.
Right.
So same
Yeah.
thing. It's the same discipline. It's
Yeah.
that same discipline. That's all it's coming down to. And once you feel that discipline start to set in day after day after day, you're feeling good already because being disciplined is a win.
Hmm.
You're adhering to your rules and you're going, that is a win. I didn't take any trades in the first 15 minutes. Then the next trade, then when I decided to take a trade, it won. And then another one won. And then another one won. And then the next day, the same thing will happen and you will feel good. Then the next day, the same thing. And then a month from there, you are rocking and rolling every time you take your first trade because you've instilled so much patience and you're letting that 15 minutes play out and you really get a chance to just look at that chart as it's live and we're going and you're just going to get a better feel for the market. And you're
Yeah.
just going to feel better all the way,
To be a
all the way around.
contrarian, just to be a contrarian, because I feel like as traders, the least amount of superstition you have, the better off you are. I take trades at the open all the time, right? And they work for me. So it's, I would say also like, always dive into the real cause. The cause might be more so you took a trade in congestion, not that you took a trade at the open. It just happens that
Yeah.
at the open, it does congest often, but it has nothing to do with the open. In fact, that's in the brain book. It's called false equivalence or false correlation.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah, I think that's a false correlation. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
exactly. So I would also suggest that, don't, and I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to everyone, don't create unnecessary superstitions for yourself. Dive into the real cause and attack that, because it might be the open and it might just be, it was congestion. I mean, in my experience,
It's
I already know.
probably
If I
the
take a trade in
congestion.
congestion, I'm gonna fucking lose. Like, I already know.
Here's a
So,
crazy idea. Don't take a trade at the open when it's congested.
boom.
There you
like
go.
a real
You can stick
broker.
them both together.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
if you feel
Don't-
the need that you have to trade, do like I've done here recently. Switch to the micros.
There you go.
If you
Yeah.
must keep some skin in the game, I mean, at that point, a 2, 3, 4 point stop loss, you're risking $20, $40, $50, something like that, as opposed to that $250, $300, $400.
Yeah, that'll cost you your whole day on the mini, but on the micro, you can get that skin in the game, get a feel for the market.
How many
I like
bars?
that. I need to use that more often.
How many bars needs to start stacking up before you go, that's congestion? What does everyone like
3.
to use? 3?
I generally say between 3 and 5, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
I go shorter because I'm more likely to kind of be dumb in congestion. So I'd rather just kind of like give myself the least amount of room, but yeah, 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, because I'm kind of the same way. Like I'll like that trade I took this morning. It was a little bit of, not necessarily trading the open, but it's because I know that when I trade the open, I'm generally more anxious to do it than I am any other point in the day. So that's why, that's why I was like, that's why I took that trade.
You were just hyped and ready to go.
Yeah, I
Ready
mean,
to go, yeah.
I get there an hour before they open, and I'm just kind of sitting there watching the chart for the until the market opens, and then that's typically why I don't trade it, because I know that my emotions are more kind of elevated going into the open because it typically moves quicker. So I kind of like emotionally react to that, and that's basically what I did this morning. That got me trapped. So, but
You better
I think
do like
I think something
50
you
burpees or
said, Al.
fucking.
I think something you said earlier, Al, was talking about basically establishing good habits, and I think that's what I need to do. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. Is I basically need to get in the habit of establishing good habits, doing the right thing over and over again. Because it's kind of like the other side of that is when you break a rule or something and then you continue to do it, you're building bad habits, and it's easier to keep making those same mistakes because you just continue to do it.
Yeah, you need to, you know, 50 burpees, 1 mile run, rub one off, whatever you got to
50
do to get that
burpees.
get that excitement out of you.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Sean, I know you said you got your personal trainer certification. You said you like going to the gym. Tie some sort of punishment in with it, where if you fuck up, you have 2 bad trades in a day. You
Well,
got to do some sort of whatever exercise you don't like. So
I
then,
don't know if you want to make it a punishment. I mean, from what it sounds like, you're the beginning of the day, you're hyped and ready to go. You just got a little too much adrenaline flowing. You need maybe to get rid of that before you sit down before the open, or just get away from the computer. Wait 15 minutes. Go do something else. Just don't sit there.
Yeah.
Where
Whatever it
the
is that you find to do, it sounds like you have a lot of energy and you're just hyped and ready to go.
where the breath goes, the energy flows. So that's the thing I picked up in meditation, and that's what I use. Whenever I start getting like anxious in a trade, I immediately go to like it's called like box breathing, and you'll do like 4 counts in, 4 count hold, 4 counts out,
Send
four
it.
counts hold, right? And that immediately starts to bring my anxiety levels down. If I'm excited, it'll bring my excitement down. And even when I'm like kind of depressed and like oh my god, I'm a piece of shit, I jump into the breathing, and that brings my mood back to a baseline. So maybe experiment with breathing
Yeah.
also.
I mean, I've actually done that. I mean, trust me, I've literally tried. I've tried
I know we've
everything.
all
I've
right.
tried probably 30, 40 different
Are you
things,
at
but
are you at work when
no,
the
I'm
market
at home.
opens?
I'm at home. I
You at
don't.
home?
Yeah.
Are you in a house or apartment? You got a squat rack at the house? Something.
No, I'm in a
Get
house.
under
I don't have
there.
any kind of. I mean, I have like a curl bar, but that's basically all I got. We used to have a weight
That-
room here, but
There,
got
guns.
rid of it a
Get the
long time
guns
ago.
out. Something.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
honestly,
maybe 10 minutes on the minute of something. It'll knock it out of you too, and you'll be like, "Ooh, I got a little workout in too."
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think what it is it comes down to it just comes down to focus. For example, this morning somebody was texting me, and it was somebody I hadn't talked to in a while, and I was kind of just going back and forth with them, and it was kind of like carrying over until like 8 o'clock, and the market opens at 8:30, and I'm like, well, shit, I still haven't really done all of my analysis yet. Like, usually I'm done by now, and I'm just watching the market for 30 minutes until it opens, but. So I think just what it comes down to is just a lack of focus. Because I noticed that when I'm like zoned in and like confident in what I'm seeing and doing, it's a completely different game.
It feels like you got distracted this morning.
Yeah, I
Normal
think
routine,
yeah,
undistracted, perfect. Everything is set up, and I'm the same way. It's got to be this exact. Uh, uh, um, what I want to say.
I'm very routine.
Movements.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exact routine every morning leading up to that, and I'm nice and focused. Something gets in the way. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't. And then all of a sudden I'm frazzled. So
Yeah.
yeah, that too. But and it just even if that happens, it still should be. I'm not trading 15 minutes. Period.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
whatever. You got to find a thing that helps you. That's what it is. So.
Hey, whenever you're looking at the market for evaluation, do you ever ask for like Al or anybody else, like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. What do you think? Not saying that their decision or their eye in the market's going to weigh on your decision at all, but have you ever you do that?
No, no one listens to me. I'm too goddamn aggressive.
You're just big old dick.
Just give me 4 ticks. I don't give a fuck how big that range is. If I got 4 ticks, I'm gonna fade that shit.
Yeah.
Because we all know it.
I'll talk. I know me and you talk a lot of shit when we're in here. I know.
Yeah, but I can see. I mean, I know the difference between talking shit and what we're actually looking at, even though we're still talking shit and being serious about what we're looking at. It just kind of all blends together, but I can tell the difference.
Yeah, see, and it's like a personal thing. I'm not that good at that. Like for me, because I only make a few decisions. So I need to be so locked in for those few decisions that little bit of shit talking takes me out of the vibe for 30 seconds and
Yep.
then a minute, and then I'm trying to make a decision I haven't completely thought about all the parameters, So I only jump into the chat like after I'm completely done. And then I might be sim trading or just hanging out, offering analysis. So
Yeah.
super individual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely. Everyone is different.
Yeah. I think the way I use the Discord is just like me and Al talk it like I mean I pretty much call out the market as I'm seeing it when I'm trading. I'm like I'm always saying like, hey, I've got a trend line here, or I've got a channel here, or there's some support here, so I'm always like calling stuff out. But that's kind of like what I kind of why I do it is because I know if somebody else is seeing something different, they're probably gonna say something. They're probably gonna speak up and say something, or post it in the Discord like a chart or something, and that just kind of helps. It does kind of help keep me focused. Like the Discord doesn't really distract me. If y'all are talking about something, completely off topic, sometimes I mute you guys. I mean, I'll just be honest. Like sometimes I mute you. Like
You're gonna mute these two idiots.
Yeah, if you see that little microphone like X out on the side there, that's me. That's me, kind of just like zoning out for a second. But no, it doesn't really distract me much. It used to. I used to struggle with like chat rooms and stuff. It was definitely a negative thing for me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. He calls it out, and then I suck at trend channels and shit. And so when I see that my vibe matches up, all right, this makes me feel a little better about what I'm seeing, and especially ranges too, because of trend channels and ranges can be so different from person to person. When you get confirmation for someone who's a better trader than you, it's like, all right, I'm seeing it better. So it does give you more confidence.
Right.
Well, who is a better trader than you, Al? I don't think there's very many. I mean, I believe there are less aggressive traders.
No, when John's calling it out, and my shit matches up, I'm like, yes, all right. I'm fucking high fiving a cat. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
Really smacking pussy. You hear that?
But if I'm doing a little breakout fucking thing that's away from the EMA, I usually, if I'm taking a trade, I probably usually shut up. But especially when I'm doing a little 2 or 3 bar breakout away from the EMA, I just wait till it goes. I'm like, all right, I just drop my trade above the double top or below the double bottom or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think we've been at it for about an hour now, so I think we covered a lot of good stuff. I mean, it was mostly kind of the psychological side of it, which is arguably the most important part, anyways. So.
I agree.
Oh yeah. Wifey's off this week on PTO. I'm all fucked up. So I'm like, I'm gonna stay off. Let's go do something, whatever you want to do. So I'm not really trading. I think I traded yesterday, the day before, and I'm not doing my normal trade. Cook, hit the range, do whatever I gotta do. I'm all over the place this week, so
Fucking life right there. Trade, cook, hit the range. Fuck yeah.
I know better than to go. Let me just get on, and then she'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, you're killing me." So that is just as much as I want to grab it, get on, and start just banging the numbers. Um, I don't. So that in itself for me is like, haha, winning. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I think I cut it off, or I actually packed everything up by noon. The last, what day is it today? Wednesday. Last 2 days. Feels like it's been already a week. Jesus Christ, you need to go back to work.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll actually be able to trade tomorrow at the Open. Hell, I don't have to be at duty until 12 o'clock. So I'll be able to trade for several hours.
Nice. I think I might take the rest of the week off. You know, I hit my weekly goal.
nice.
I don't want to really force it. So, you know, I'll see what I'll do. Maybe I'll size down tomorrow, jump on the micros, but
Yeah, do like me. I've been hit the micros.
yeah.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up there, unless you guys want to talk about something else. I mean,
There
doesn't
was
matter.
one last thing. I think Al is one of the best people to talk to about this. Um, and you weren't in the chat when I brought it up earlier. So what I'm going through now, Al, is I hit some kind of daily goal or I have my first win of the day and I have just massive loss aversion, right? I just don't want to take more setups because of fear that I might lose and go on tilt or whatever that is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed for you, I mean, I'll see you taking trades all throughout the day. So I'm kind of wondering your psychology when you are trading throughout the day. What kind of keeps you trading, whether you've hit your goal or not?
Um, Confidence in what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Patience. I'm patient with it too. I mean, sometimes, maybe sometimes I'll go two trades within a couple minutes.
Hmm.
One that's confidence in what I'm seeing, um, and it's setting up because failures and two-legged pullbacks can set up both ways on the same trade.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for that, and especially bouncing off the bouncing off an EMA. I mean, it's not too hard for me to go, all right, all I need to do is go long. It's above the EMA. It's a perfect setup.
Hmm.
And then there's sometimes I'm just kind of, I don't know, just kind of going dead inside in regards to emotion and stuff. But I've said before, I'm 100% confident when I take a trade, but I also said that before Easter, and that Monday came, it was like I was blind. I couldn't see shit. I would, before that, I would wake up and I could see the market. I could go to bed and I'm feeling the market. I can feel my skills in me, my ability to see the trades, my ability to be patient,
Right.
but after that Sunday, Easter, dude, it was crushed. But now took Keith's advice, went to a smaller tick chart. Now I went to 950, and just this week I went up to 1350, or was it the end of last week? I just sit there and stare at the charts. I'll drop arrows where I think I should have took a trade, or where I did take a trade. I'll drop a green arrow there because that green is just a confidence builder, color-wise in my mind. And I build on that. I build on my confidence. Every time
Mm.
I take a
Confidence.
successful, every time I take a successful trade, I look at it again. That's
Hmm.
why it was successful. That's why I was so confident. And that's it. I'm building my confidence, and I'm not scared to lose. Because if I do take a loss later in the day, by that time I've got so many winning trades. I think trades was on yesterday. I had two. They were back to back. I think it was two trades. Threw in a runner. Fucking runner turned on me. Took a loss. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna do another runner. today's a great day for a runner. Did
Mhm.
it again. Took a winning trade. I'm like, fuck yeah, I got those 4 ticks. And it turned on me. It's like, oh, you motherfucker. And then I took another one, and I think it was 3 consecutive, just bang, bang, bang. And then it tried to turn on me. I was like, fuck you. I went to break even. And I was okay with that. I expressed, how I felt in what you saw me post. At the beginning of
Yeah, I
that
remember
post,
that now.
I was fuck, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But what did I end my post with? I ended it with
Loss.
confidence. Yeah,
Right.
but yep, I ended it with confidence. I'm happy about the fact that I was able to see my 4 ticks. Fucked up my runners, but I'm happy with the small improvement that I can feel seeing the charts. That small improvement of just taking my 4 ticks, and then I said, but I suck at runners. But I'm okay with sucking at runners because it's just as easy as me to go no runner, 2 contracts, take my 4 ticks, I'm out. I've got an out for me doing shitty on the runners. But to go back to that is just I'm confident. I'm confident every time I take a trade. And if I ever feel, which is the first time I felt not confident was after the Easter. If I ever feel that again, I will go back down to a smaller tick chart right away. If I ever wake up and I feel I can't see the chart, I know that feeling. I know how to fix it. But
Mm.
it's confidence, seeing the charts. I mean, I walk around during the day and I can picture the charts and I can just see setup happening. I'm sitting in bed at night, I can see the setup happening, and I just feel this confidence in me, if that even makes sense.
No, definitely it does. I've been feeling that lately because I'm watching these trades go by and they're just perfect runners, perfect trades. And I'm like, I know what this is. I clearly understand what
Yes.
this is. I just didn't push the button. So yeah, I'm just building up to getting that. Because it's always like after I hit a certain goal, I'm just like, why should I keep going? But it's like, I mean, because you could make more, and that's the point. So yeah, I was just curious what's going on in your head because I'm always seeing you trading, and it's like it doesn't matter what time of day it is. You're always, if you see a setup, you're taking it. So I'm trying to implement some of that.
Yep.
That's
I'm
because
just
Kyle has that big ball energy. That's what it is.
You said what energy?
big ball of
Kyle has
energy.
big ball energy.
Yeah,
That's
I try not
definitely what it is.
to let negative thoughts get in, but I'm not immune to it. But I know how to fix that. So
Yeah,
that's
you
that.
just talk to me and I'll chew you right up.
Yep, there you go. You just do-do-do-do-do, little tickle here, little tickle there, and I'm ready to go.
So the